Meanwhile, ICE is confirming that Jose Rosales, who is accused of killing Harris County, Texas Corporal Charles Galloway, is in the country illegally when he murdered that officer. The professional criminal has been on the run since 1996. He was wanted for another murder in El Salvador. He was apprehended in Mexico. He will appear before a criminal court later on this morning. And, you know, you look at the spate of number of law enforcement who are shot. Why is that? Well, in large measure, it's because there are a lot of guns, but it's also because there are not many consequences for breaking the law. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to break the law. You know, a cop's going to come over and he's going to try to stop me and say, you know, I'm not going to take it to a judge because you're just going to get released. And so unless, you know, they really feel trapped, they feel like I can get away with everything. And unfortunately, too often, they think that, but then they get in a squeeze and they see a police officer and they pull out a gun and all hell breaks loose.
My goodness, that guy should not even have been out on the street.
No.
A senseless murder, and it could have been prevented. The number of officers, according to the FBI, killed last year, highest recorded in the past 20 years.
Right. You know, it's pretty interesting. You know, the disaster, which is Portland, they said, okay, if you guys want to get hired back, I know you're retired, we want to give you an incentive to come back. Out of the 81 that retired because they were getting no support, they were being defunded and defamed, 2 came back. Nobody wants the job because they're not backed by the people. You don't become a cop because you want to be rich or you want to be famous. You put your life on the line, as we see, too. You're not seeing people walk into the middle of a gang war and you say, well, I know that's dangerous. Some of these things are normal traffic stops. And one of these police officers gets shot pulling somebody over because they were speeding. So there's no normal day for a police officer. And now that you defamed them and defunded them and diminished them, and now you want them to come back into your city and bring back the law and order that they had, a lot of them are throwing up their hands and saying, it's your problem now.
Well, Joe Biden's coming to town, coming up, I believe, next Thursday. He's going to talk to Eric Adams. Eric Adams has a plan. Joe Biden's plan is no more guns. You know, Joe Biden sees the political reality of it. The defunding police thing is political poison. So they're trying to step away from that, but at the same time, walk a fine line and not anger his base. Meanwhile, we've been showing you these pictures of the migrants being released down on our southern border in Brownsville, Texas. Bill Malushin's team got a tip a couple of days ago. Apparently, these releases of largely young men, remember we heard it was only families and children and mothers who were being released. Those are all guys that we can tell. These releases, by the tens of thousands, have been going on, Ainsley, since February.
Yeah, that's exactly what one of these ICE agents told our reporters. Didn't give his name, but he said, between releases and the vaccine mandate, the morale is at the lowest. Imagine going to the office to make phone calls all day to coordinate travel for someone who just came in illegally, some of them with criminal records. He goes on to say they contact a family member of these illegals. They ask the family member to pay for their plane ticket or pay for their bus ticket to get to their family somewhere in the United States. And if the family decides they're not going to pay, then these NGOs buy them the tickets, and then the NGOs bill the government, which means you're paying for it. He goes on to say the mass releases have been happening discreetly, like you said, since February. The reporting only scratches the surface.
But you just mentioned they're releasing people with criminal records.
Oh, yeah, misdemeanors. They release anyone with a misdemeanor. So
assault.
They say that's assault, that's DUI, drug possessions, illegal reentry. The only ones that they hold are those with really serious crimes and felonies.
So Governor Abbott sat down with Maria after his meeting with the attorney generals in states all across our country. Just keep in mind, it's not that President Biden has a bad policy. His policy is to have no policy and not address it and not bring it up. And no one really asks him to a point where he's got to address it. And ever since the bridge situation, no other media outlet really cares. The New York Post has on the first 4 pages, despite what's happening with law enforcement, because it's that outrageous and that exclusive. And I think that's sad that nobody else cares about what's happening at Westchester Airport, that small airport in Pennsylvania, or Jacksonville, Florida. Meanwhile, Governor Abbott does not have the luxury of ignoring this. It's overwhelming his huge state. He's taken out personal resources for Operation Lone Star for 10,000 of his troops to go out and try to patrol the border. There's only so much he can do. Here he is talking to Maria.
There's lawlessness in the United States of America right now, and it starts at the top position in the country. It needs to stop, and Biden needs to be held accountable for the lawlessness he himself is causing. It's been reckless, dangerous, and deadly. We're going to be asking the federal judge to put sanctions on the Biden administration for not complying with the federal court order and not complying with federal law.
Well, when you're the federal government, you can kind of do whatever you want to. They figured out how to selectively enforce the law. That so infuriates the governor of the great state of Texas, as it does with the attorney general of the great state of Florida, who met with him yesterday. Here's Ashley Moody earlier on our program.
What we once thought was just them failing to follow law. You know, federal law requires that. Obama did it. Trump did it, that you deport those here illegally committing crimes. But now they're going a step beyond. They're building infrastructure and programs totally outside the law to facilitate illegal immigration. It must be stopped. We will push back.
I wonder if ICE, if they just do a mass boycott, if no one goes, they already turned their back on Homeland Security Secretary because he's an embarrassment to the nation. But I wonder if ICE just says, my reputation, and I have to be able to sleep at night. I'm concerned about what's happening in the country. I know I don't want them to quit their job, but if they all decided just not to do it, then they would force the administration to address it because they gutted ICE. They don't let them do anything, and now they're travel agents to make sure illegal immigrants get put in your neighborhood.
Imagine working for the federal government, and they're essentially telling you to break the law. You need
every day.
These illegal immigrants, send them out to various cities around the country.
And
that's what they're having to do. And don't talk about it. You're not allowed to talk about it.
They're telling them don't enforce the law, which unfortunately, and now we have a police officer down in Texas who is dead at the hands of an illegal. Just one other thing. You know, if you think it's okay that all these people come into the country, what about the fact that they are bringing tons and tons of killer drugs? There was enough fentanyl seized in Texas to kill 220 million Americans. And you know what? A lot of people don't realize this, but fentanyl, the thing that they lace the drugs with, you know, people think, I'm just buying some pot. The fentanyl that is used for all those things is the #1 killer of Americans between 18 and 45. So much emphasis on COVID. But look at this. The #1 killer is fentanyl, and it is completely preventable if you stop the flow of drugs across the southern border.
And the majority comes across the border.
Yeah, I just hope they're wearing masks. As long as they're wearing masks, that'll be great.
Cartels are making.
Right.
So,
Carly, I understand you have breaking news.
I actually do. This is a really important story that's breaking right now. We're going to get to a Fox News alert right now. Police, EMS, and firefighters are responding to a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh. Several cars and a Port Authority bus with 3 people on board were reportedly on the snow-covered bridge when it collapsed. But so far, no injuries have been reported. Officials say there is still a, quote, strong smell of natural gas in the area. Authorities are asking locals to avoid this area. And this comes as the same day President Biden is set to tout his infrastructure deal in Pittsburgh.